Can I get you autograph also?
What the hell was that?
It sounded like a plane crash.
There was a reaction on the part of
Yo, close to you!
Come to us, come to us. Come to us. Come to us. Hey, Beth, what is that? Somebody hit the World Trade Center or the...
It's a trade
Yes,
center.
the World Trade Center.
Center.
There's a fire on the upper floors.
It was just an explosion.
Yeah. This just in, you were looking at obviously a very disturbing live shot there. That is the World Trade Center, and we have unconfirmed reports this morning that a plane has crashed into one of the towers of the World Trade Center. The CNN Center right now is just beginning to work on this story, obviously calling our sources and trying to figure out exactly what happened, but clearly something relatively devastating happening this morning there on the south end of the island of Manhattan. That is, once again, a picture of one of the towers of the World Trade Center.
When you can see these pictures, it's obviously something devastating has happened. And again, unconfirmed report that a plane has crashed into one of the towers there. We are efforting more information on this subject as it becomes available to you.
Right now we've got Sean Murtaugh. He is a CNN producer on the telephone right now. Sean, what can you tell us about what you know?
This is Sean Murtaugh. I just was standing on the Vice President of Finance.
Sean,
Vice President of Finance for CNN.
Sean, we're on the air right now. What can you tell us about this situation?
Hello?
Yes, Sean, you're on the air
Yes,
right
yes.
now. Go ahead. What can you tell us?
I just witnessed a plane that appeared to be cruising slightly lower than normal altitude over New York City, and it appears to have crashed into, I don't know which tower it is, but it hit directly in the middle of one of the World Trade Center towers.
Sean, what kind of plane? Was it a small plane, a jet?
It was a jet. Looked like a two-engine jet, maybe a 737.
You're talking about a large passenger commercial
A large
jet.
passenger commercial jet.
And where were you when you saw this?
I am on the 21st floor of 5 Penn Plaza.
Did it appear that the plane was having any difficulty flying?
Yes, it did. It was teetering back and forth, wingtip to wingtip, and it looks like it has crashed into probably 20 stories from the top of the World Trade Center, maybe the 80th to 85th floor. There's smoke billowing out of the World Trade Center.
Sean, what happened next? Does it appear to you that the plane is still inside the World Trade Center?
From my angle, I'm viewing south towards the Statue of Liberty and towards the World Trade Center. It looks like it is embedded in the building. I can't see from my vantage point whether it has come out the other side.
Sean, what about on the ground? Or any debris that is hit down there? Can you see
My
anything?
vantage point is too far from the World Trade Center to make any determination of that.
Did you see any smoke, any flames coming out of the engines of that plane?
No, I did not. The plane just was coming in low, and the wingtips tilted back and forth, and then it flattened out. It looks like it's hit at a slight angle into the World Trade Center. I can see flames now coming out the side of the building, and smoke continues to billow.
Well, generally, is that a traffic area in New York for aircraft?
It is not a normal flight pattern. I'm a frequent traveler between Atlanta and New York for business, and it is not a normal flight pattern to come directly over Manhattan. Usually they come up either over the Hudson River heading north and pass alongside the island of Manhattan, or if they're taking off from LaGuardia, they usually take off over Shea Stadium and gain altitude around the island of Manhattan. It is rare that you have a jet crossing directly over the island of Manhattan.
Just for our viewers who are just tuning in right now, you're looking at a live picture of the World Trade Center tower where, according to eyewitness Sean Murtaugh, he is a vice president of finance, an eyewitness to what he describes as a twin-engine plane or possibly a 737 passenger jet flying into the World Trade Center. It appears to be still embedded inside the building. Sean, are you in a position right now to hear whether any sirens are going, any ambulances, any sort of response to this yet?
Not from my vantage point. I'm probably 1.5 miles, 2 miles from the World Trade Center.
It is a remarkable scene, as we're seeing right now. Flames still coming out of the windows, black smoke billowing from what appears to be all sides. Obviously, windows shattered and steel jutting out from the structure
and
right
Sean,
now.
once again, we're looking at these pictures, and
I
you're
see them
telling
in my
us,
office. I have them on all my TVs.
and you're telling us you believe the plane is still remains embedded.
I can't tell from my vantage point.
All right. Sean, thank you so much for
Thank
your
you very
eyewitness
much.
account there. Right now, we want to go to our affiliate NYW reporting on this as we speak.
With a little girl in his arms.
Did you see what happened, sir? Did you see what happened? What happened?
Well, I was in the PATH train, and there was a huge explosion sound. Everyone came out. A large section of the building is blown out, around like the 80th floor.
Was it hit by something, or was it something
it was
inside?
It was inside. Because it looked out, everything was coming out.
Everything
All
was
the
coming-
windows were coming out, all the papers were
What
coming
is on
out.
the sidewalk?
I didn't see anything. I
Was there
ran.
any people hurt, do you know?
I just ran, and everyone in the PATH train just ran. I don't know if anyone was hurt, but I assume they were because the windows were all blown out.
About 15 minutes ago, bodies started dropping from the top floors of the tower closest to the highway. About at least 5 or 6, and it was absolutely terrible. Obviously, they had two choices: to be burned in flames or to leap and end it all.
This is as close as we can get to the base of the World Trade Center. You can see the two towers. Debris continues to fall and to rain on the people below. There are people hanging from the windows 90 stories up, and a number of bodies have actually hit the pavement.
I think that there's some really crazy people in this world. This is just not too many innocent people. People were jumping off the building, body parts all over the place. I mean, this is just, I feel like I was in a movie.
Have you ever seen anything like this?
Absolutely not. I've seen at least 10 people fall to their death and just splat like a ripe tomato. It's awful, but it's, I don't know who was at the controls or what was going on in the plane, but it was not a bomb. It was an American Airlines jet that crashed into the tower.
Pray that God took them quick. And then we saw the people jumping. We saw what we thought was debris, and we realized it was people jumping.
Holy shit, Martin. That's the other building. That's terrorist. That's terrorist, bro.
In a second, that looks like a good-sized plane came in and hit the World Trade Center from the other side. So this is obviously, or would seem to be, and again, I'm dealing in speculation, but it would seem like there is a concerted attack against one of the towers of the World Trade Center.
With knives or box cutters, that flight attendants had been injured or killed, that people had stormed the cockpit. We also learned that on one of the flights, the American Airlines flight that went into the World Trade Tower, the flight attendant was also able to tell the American Airlines Operations Center. She reached them and told them what was going on board.
We heard it, and because I was just like standing there pretty much looking out the window. I didn't see what caused it or if there was an impact.
So you have no idea right now?
Oh, there's another one.
Standard time, a plane crashes into one of the towers at the World Trade Center in New York. Some 18 minutes later, television viewers across the country watch in astonishment as a jetliner flies right into the second Trade Center tower. In Sarasota, Florida, President Bush calls the crashes an apparent terrorist attack.
Evidence, Elliot, of people being taken out of the building. You say that emergency vehicles are there, understandably so, but of course...
The eastern tower of the World Trade Center.
I'm wondering if Jennifer Oberstein is still on the phone. Do we still have Jennifer on the phone? She's actually not on the phone because she was near a police officer. At least we could have perhaps gotten more.
Holy shit! Holy shit! God!
What's other jet doing? Holy.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Jesus fucking Christ!
Whoa, shit.
Oh my God.
What the f*** is that?
I don't know.
It's f***ing bombing it. Holy f***. Oh my God.
Has already confirmed is a terrorist attack. It is foul play. The FBI has told the Associated Press. I'm just being told that the New York Stock Exchange is being evacuated. That word from our Money Scope reporter Jill Bennett. New York Stock Exchange is being evacuated. Murray Bergstrom High School is being closed. Bellevue Hospital, I'm being told right now, is now the command post for injuries. Bellevue Hospital is the command post. That's all we know right now to handle injuries, to handle the triage. LaGuardia, Kennedy airports have been closed. I've not heard a word on Newark Airport. 8:45 is the time of the first accident. We had it about within 3 minutes, and then that would make it 21 minutes later. A second plane, as John said, with his flight experience of Boeing 737 striking the South Tower, the other, of course, the North Tower. Information being handed to me right now, if you pause just for a moment, a senior government official speaking on condition of anonymity said the agency right now, the FBI, is pursuing reports that one or both of the planes were hijacked. These planes were hijacked and that the crashes may have been the result of a suicide mission. The source stressed that the reports are preliminary and officials do not know the cause of the crashes. It certainly doesn't look like an accident, said a second government official, also speaking on a condition of anonymity. Again, the FBI, a senior government official, speaking on condition of anonymity, said both planes were hijacked and were flown intentionally on a suicide mission into the World Trade Centers. Again, it has not been confirmed by the White House, and all 3 airports are now closed. All 3 airports now closed. We have eyewitnesses on the phone. We also have Lori Stokes, my tag team partner. Lori, why don't you give me a break right here and bring us up to date with anything that you might know, and I'll be down there in a moment.
All right, to reiterate, Steve, and also to just recap and to add some more information, as we've heard some witness accounts as this happened at 8:45. One eyewitness saying that they noticed that they saw one plane that was listing back and forth from wingtip to wingtip shortly before it apparently did crash into the north side of building number 1. And then, as John Del Giorno just talked about a few minutes ago, from his eye and his expertise, being able to tell it was a Boeing 737 was apparently the second aircraft that went into the second tower on the south side. As we also understand, as you also talked about, Steve, just minutes ago, all operations, according to the New York metropolitan area, as far as flights coming in, going out, that would be Newark, LaGuardia, as well as Kennedy. All of the operations have been suspended thus far. Of course, that would be natural, seeing as though what has just happened within the last hour or so. Jim Dolan, of course, with us here in the studio as Steve Bartlestein makes his way down. We have Jim, and let's talk about, because certainly this is all just happening in such a rapid fashion.
Yeah, but it is typical in the way of terrorist acts often happen. You often see this in Israel. There'll be one attack, and then there'll be one bomb explosion, for example, Lori, and then there'll be several minutes that go by, and emergency service people come to the scene and try to rescue those people who are injured and try to save those people who are not killed, and then another bomb goes off as if to kill those people who came in to help as well. It's the cynical way in which terrorism often works. It appears that that could be the way this has happened as well. One plane goes into the first building, several minutes go by, emergency services people come to the scene, and then another terrorist attack.
And of course, for it to begin and to start when it hit at 8:45, for us to initially believe this was an accident.
It certainly let us speculate that it might not be terrorism. It could be something else. It could be an accident. It could be, I remember one of the people you had on the air, Steve, was talking about the possibility that it could have been the flyer, the pilot of the plane might have been drunk because of the way the plane was listing. So it let us think that that was a possibility for a while. When the second plane hit, didn't seem to be any question left. This was a planned, well-planned out terrorist attack, and that, of course, is what the FBI and the feds are confirming for us now.
Well, Jim, we were just talking upstairs, and Lori, I know that you've covered all these as well, probably more so than I. Oftentimes, these twin terrorist attacks, they do happen in twos, and such as the embassy bombings in Africa. Yep. That's certainly looking like that's the way it was.
And in that particular case, that was designed, 2 explosions at nearly the very same time, was designed to get the message out. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't isolated. We have our fingers everywhere. We can control your destiny, and we will make an impact. And that is what they were trying to get across in the twin embassy attacks. And we'll have to wait and see what the message was supposed to be here. But let me just point out, and this was also the case in the original World Trade Center explosion, many people see those twin towers as an example across the world, around the world, as an example of American capitalism, as an example of American might and power. They are a very strong, a very vulnerable symbol to the rest of the world and to the United States, and that could be why they were targeted this time.
Great point.
And you have to look how meticulously this appears to have taken place as well.
Really does. When the World Trade, and this is one of those things, and we're looking again at the second explosion right there on tape. On the south side. During the World Trade Center trial, it came out that the buildings were originally designed to withstand the full impact of a 727 aircraft. They were designed to continue to stand if a 727 crashed into it, because the 727 was the largest plane in the air at that time. So this was well planned out. These were large aircrafts. It was not a mistake. And just think of how expensive this operation was. Very few terrorist organizations could afford that.
Immediately, and not to speculate, but immediately Osama bin Laden has got the money to do something like that. But you automatically think, I would imagine, asking both of you the question, there are very few countries that plan suicide attacks. They may have other forms of terrorism. Suicide attacks would certainly send intelligence to certain parts of the country if they didn't have it already.
Osama bin Laden, of course, is the former Afghan freedom fighter, a billionaire by all accounts, who is maybe #1 on America's list of terrorism exporters. They believe he was involved in the attack on the American vessel in the Middle East several months ago, and
embassy attacks too.
The embassy attacks as well. And yeah, he springs immediately to mind.
All right, we have also, let's go back to John Del Journal. John, you're still obviously having to keep your distance, but bring us up to date. John, are you there?
John is
certainly can hear.
He's taken our signal, they were telling me, off the radio.
All right, we're understanding
Once
that
again, we're live over the west side of Manhattan. We're up around 79th Street, about 5 miles north of the World Trade Center. And again, to recap the events here this morning as we are assembling them, mostly from eyewitness reports, one of our sister helicopters for Metro Traffic was flying in the vicinity here around 8:45 this morning when the pilot witnessed an airplane crash into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. That airplane was traveling from north to south, and the pilot believes that it was an ATR aircraft. That's a commuter-type airplane. It's a twin-engine prop airplane that can carry anywhere between 50 people up over 100 people for that aircraft. That airplane crashed flush into the north side of World Trade Center, of the north building of the World Trade Center, and the building proceeded to go up in flames. The top 20 floors of the building currently engulfed in smoke. Approximately 15 minutes after that occurred, we were en route to the scene, and an airplane passed over our head from south to north, and this was a Boeing 737 aircraft that crashed flush into the south side of the south building. So we have two airplanes that struck each building of the World Trade Center. The north building was struck on approximately the 80th floor. My estimation is that the south building, which is what you're looking at now, that was struck at approximately between the 50th and 60th floors. Again, initial eyewitness reports said that these first airplanes, the first one flew directly over Manhattan and right into the north face of the World Trade Center building. Meanwhile, these fires, obviously very difficult to extinguish for the fire department. I'm not even sure if they can get equipment up that high in the building. This smoke, obviously, on a beautiful, clear day in Manhattan, is visible for miles and miles around. It is also worth noting that as far as we can tell, the airspace around New York City, as far as commercial traffic goes, that airspace has been shut down. All operations at Newark International Airport, John F. Kennedy International Airport, and LaGuardia Airport, those operations they've been ground to a halt by the FAA. Also, Teterboro Airport for local commuter traffic, that has been closed down as well. So it appears as though all air traffic in the vicinity is immediately shut down. The fires continue to burn out of control in World Trade Center #1 and World Trade Center #2.
John, let me ask you a question. You had said the 737, pardon me on my ignorance. How many folks does that seat, do you know?
37 aircraft, and you'll have to forgive me because I'm working on the radio equipment to hear your questions, because obviously much of the media equipment in New York is based right here in the World Trade Center.
of the building or in the center courtyard as emergency teams try to sort out what has happened here. There is, of course, thick black smoke billowing from the scene. There's a lot of confusion. The Defense Protective Service, which is the police force here in the Pentagon, has been urging people to get out of the building and move away from the scene so they can handle the emergency situation. Again, it appears that an aircraft of some sort did hit the side of the Pentagon, the west front, which faces sort of toward Arlington National Cemetery. It's a corridor where a lot of Army offices are located.
Wow.
And some people were...
Jamie, I need you to stop for a second. There has just been a huge explosion. We can see a billowing smoke rising. And I'll tell you that I can't see that second tower, but there was a cascade of sparks and fire, and now it looks almost like a mushroom cloud explosion, this huge billowing smoke in the second tower. This was the second of the two towers hit. And I cannot see behind that smoke, obviously, as you can either. The first tower in front has not changed. And we see this extraordinarily and frightening scene behind us.
The entire building has just collapsed, as if a demolition team set off. When you see the old demolitions of these old buildings, it folded down on itself, and it is not there anymore.
That should be it.
Thanks very much. It has completely collapsed.
The whole side has collapsed?
The whole building has collapsed.
The whole building has collapsed?
The building has collapsed.
That's the southern tower you're talking about.
Exactly. The second building that we witnessed the airplane enter had been, the top half had been, as if a demolition team set off. When you see the old demolitions of these old buildings, it folded down on itself, and it is, when you see the old demolitions of these old buildings, it folded down on itself, and it is not there anymore.
Just disappeared into its own dust.
Less than an hour later, the South Tower came crumbling down. It collapsed. Less than an hour later, the South Tower came crumbling down. It collapsed.
A.m. The until now unthinkable. The South Tower of the World Trade Center collapses.
Thus compromised, the trusses give way. The South Tower lasts only 56 minutes before it succumbs at 9:59 a.m. Thus compromised, the trusses give way. The South Tower lasts only 56 minutes before it succumbs at 9:59 a.m.
Back now on Eyewitness News with a look at the latest video from Tuesday's tragedy in Manhattan, the now familiar scene of the World Trade Center Twin Towers collapsing.
After that, several minutes of pitch darkness, what did you see in the streets then?
It was a very deep gray smoke. It was, in honesty, looked like a bit of a nuclear winter, the type of thing you see in the movies with ash all over the ground, on top of cars, on police cars, on windows. I made my way into...
After that, several minutes of pitch darkness, what did you see in the streets then?
It was a very deep gray smoke. It was, in honesty, looked like a bit of a nuclear winter, the type of thing you see in the movies with ash all over the ground, on top of cars, on police cars, on windows. I made my way
building can sustain.
When you look at what the plane brings in, there are a significant amount of combustible materials, plastics, and of course all the luggage, the seats, all those kind of things. But also what's in the normal office building.
I saw there's maybe about 30 or 40 people covered in bandages and blood. It looks like a lot of them were on the floor of one of the exchanges. I saw there's maybe about 30 or 40 people covered in bandages and blood. It looks like a lot of them were on the floor of one of the exchanges.
Holy shit! What happened? Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! The whole thing! Oh my God! Holy shit! What happened? Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! The whole thing! Oh my God! Holy shit! What happened? Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! The whole thing! Oh my God!
Multiplié aux États-Unis. À chaque fois, des faisceaux d'indices laissaient penser que de nouvelles attaques étaient.
Even just on a plain windy day, that this material blew through in a way that was really unimaginable. It was truly frightening. It continued to rain down for several minutes, as you can see there, and the winds just whipped through these corridors for several minutes.
I don't even know how much fire equipment they've been able to move up onto those upper floors.
It's just coming down, Pat. It is just coming down.
Watch the right
it's
side.
Exploding.
The building is ripping apart.
It is billowing. Pat, the debris is flying. I'm going to run.
Okay. All right.
Oh, shit! No! Axel Gallon Count, what happened?
The whole top of the building fell off, dude.
Holy shit, dude!
Collapsed. Explosions rocked the Pentagon as well. Apparently, a hijacked plane crashed into the Pentagon. And here you see the Twin Towers.
This is as close as we can get to the base of the World Trade Center. You can see the firemen assembled here, the police officers, FBI agents, and you can see the two towers. A huge explosion now raining debris on all of us. We better get out of the way.
We are continually trying. Okay, that's great. Also, would you make everyone aware that we're going to be feeding some tape?
The economy are being questioned. questioned and analyzed all around the world this evening, Matt.
And of course, we've heard that the markets here in this country were closed today. We've been told they'll be closed again tomorrow. I mean, how long can we expect them to be shut down until they can get up and running again?
Well, there are so many sensitive issues to be dealt with, not the least of which will be security for the participants in those marketplaces downtown, the New York Stock Exchange being the principal exchange in Lower Manhattan. It is likely, one would assume, that because of the worry that disrupting the financial markets could be worse than letting them open up and respond to the situation, that tomorrow may be the only day on which the very...
Falling. It's gone. The Twin Trade Towers are fucking...
The trade centers here in New York have been hit by airplanes. In Washington, there is a large fire at the Pentagon. The Pentagon has been evacuated. And there, as you can see, perhaps the second tower, the front tower, the top portion of which is collapsing. Good Lord. There are no words. You can see large pieces of the building falling. You can see the smoke rising. You can see a portion of the side of the building now just being covered on the right side.
Do you remember when we were talking and I had my shoes on and I was about to go out the door? I would have been walking around when this happened. Oh my God! That was a bomb that did that.
Oh God, look at that!
That was a fucking bomb that did that. There's no goddamn way that could have happened.
God.
Holy shit! They're not even saying it. Yes, they are.
Looks like there was never a building there.
You know, when it went down, I could see like it was powder.
Yeah, sort of.
Like,
So this way.
Oh, it's one piece still not going down. Look at the steel.
Oh my God. You can hear it. God have mercy.
Oh wow, the whole thing is just died. Alright, the whole thing exploded. Yeah, I'll bring you the video. See you. Bye bye.
Shortly after that, the second tower just collapsing into a pile of rubble.
Here's the AP lead out of New York. In a horrific sequence of destruction, terrorists crashed 2 planes into the World Trade Center, and the twin 110-story towers collapsed this morning.